Live from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet is proud to welcome you into NCAA Division II women's soccer coverage, streaming exclusively on Flow College. In the final game of a three-match homestand, the College of Staten Island Dolphins host the Lightning of Goldey Beacom College. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Foreman, and I'll be on the call solo today as the Dolphins look to snap a three-game losing streak against the Lightning. And this match will not only be the team's last in the month of September, but it will also be the last home match on the schedule until October 15th, when the team returns from four straight on the road for a matchup with Lincoln University. Last time we saw the Dolphins in action was this past weekend when they hosted Malloy University in the second of back-to-back conference matches. That game took place earlier in the week on Wednesday, in fact. And for the Dolphins, it was a very difficult first half that proved to be too much for them to overcome. Outshot 15-2 during the first 45 minutes. The Dolphins trailed 1-0 until the final 32 seconds before halftime. This is when a second line score made it a two-goal game, the first of three Malloy goals in just over 8 minutes, extending into the second half. This put CSI in a 4-0 hole, and despite a much more statistically close second half, the Dolphins would be held without a goal in the 4-0 defeat. And while a shutout is always somewhat concerning, the Dolphins remain stuck on just 2 goals for the season as they enter a matchup with a Lightning team that they have never scored against. Prior to the 4 goals allowed against Malloy, CSI goalkeeping had limited the opposition to just 7 goals in 5 matches, but the team will certainly be looking for more production on the attack here this afternoon. In order to get that, they will need to generate more chances against a Goldey Beacom team that has outshot them by at least 10 in all 4 prior meetings. This includes a 34-3 shot advantage when the two teams faced off in 2022. 2 years ago at Dolphin Soccer Park, the Lightning would score in the second minute and carry that 1-0 lead the rest of the way. This is the one match in the 4-match history between these two teams that was decided by less than 3 goals. So, without question, the Dolphins face a tough test on their home turf today. As for the Lightning, they're off to a really rough start this year as they are still looking for their first win of the 2025 season. They come in 0-5-1 overall and 0-2-1 against the CACC. Like the Dolphins, they've also struggled to find the back of the net with just 4 goals in 6 matches, 3 of which have seen them shut out in a 3-0 defeat. Also similar to the Dolphins, they are on the wrong side of a major shot disparity for the season and will be looking to get right ahead of 2 more conference games coming up next week. Jessica Jensen is the only multi-goal scorer between these two teams, and Goldey Beacom is certainly hoping that history will repeat itself in terms of their long-standing history of success against CSI. As for the Dolphins, I mentioned they embark on an extensive road trip following the match with the Lightning today, and that road trip will begin in Spark Hill, New York on Wednesday, October 1st at noon when they take on the Spartans of St. Thomas Aquinas College. CSI Sportsnet will be there with audio-only coverage of that match, and you can watch the match with full live video and play-by-play commentary over on Flow College. If you prefer the Sportsnet audio, you can pair that with the Flow broadcast. Visit the link on the Women's Soccer schedule page for full audio coverage from us here on Sportsnet. We will be in Spark Hill on Wednesday as the Dolphins take on the Spartans. The CSI road trip then continues from there with a visit to Buffalo as they take on D'Youville University on Saturday, October 4th. They then visit Caldwell and Georgian Court in non-conference competition on Wednesday, October 8th and Saturday, October 11th before the team finally returns home on Wednesday, October 15th for a matchup with Lincoln University of Pennsylvania. We will have that game for you right here on CSI Sportsnet, streaming on Flow College. Our Sportsnet road coverage may also expand into Delaware coming up as men's soccer will hit the road for a matchup with the Goldey Beacom College Lightning. That game will take place on the road in a couple of weeks, and right now it looks like we may have that game for you streaming with audio only over on YouTube. That has not yet been confirmed, but on Thursday, October 9th, the Dolphins visit Goldey Beacom College for a 3 p.m. matchup. Stay tuned to the men's soccer schedule page as that game may stream live with audio only as well. So the Dolphins and Lightning will both be looking to get back on track as they take the pitch after this short break. A message from the sponsors of Flow College is coming up, followed by starting lineups for both of these two teams. After that, the anthem will be played, and we will get underway right here on CSI Sportsnet. The Dolphins and Lightning coming up next. We'll be right back.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
The NCAA sponsors 90 national championships each year, none of which could happen without officials. There is an urgent need for sports officials across the country, as they are retiring 4 times faster than they are coming in, leaving shortages at all levels of sport. The NCAA recognizes the importance of officiating on the student-athlete experience and is dedicated to the recruitment and retention of new officials for all sports. There are many great reasons to become an official. Stay in shape and get paid to do so. Meet new people and build relationships within a tight-knit community. Give back to the sport you love by creating a fair atmosphere and upholding the integrity of the game. Say yes to officiating. Visit ncaa.org/sayyes-to-officiating for more information on how to get started.
Joe Foreman back with you here on CSI Sportsnet as we approach kickoff between the College of Staten Island and Goldey Beacom College here on CSI Sportsnet. Of course, now streaming exclusively on Flow College. And before we introduce the starters for both teams, we'll get a look at what the Dolphins have done in terms of the numbers this year. And this is something that we've typically done before each of our home matches so far in 2025, going down the statistical data and seeing what jumps out. And for the Dolphins, unfortunately, something that is really not changing is the shot disparity. The Dolphins have been outshot by 105 now through the first 6 matches. They've been outscored 11-2 in terms of goals. However, entering their last game, they had been outscored just 7-2. So prior to the 4-goal effort by the Lions against the Dolphins earlier this week, the Dolphins had only been outscored by 5 goals. That disparity grew quite larger following the Malloy victory over the College of Staten Island on Wednesday. But the shot tally being so far against the Dolphins has to be a bit concerning for them, and shots per game now for the opposition has ballooned to 22. Entering the game, I believe it was on Wednesday against Malloy, the Dolphins were shooting a percentage better than the opposition. So despite the lack of quantity for the Dolphins, there has been plenty of quality among their scoring chances. They were shooting up above 10%. That number isn't lighting up the scoreboard, but it was far better than the opposition was shooting, sub 8%. Malloy really bolstered that number for CSI opponents in terms of shooting percentage. That number now up above 8%. The Dolphins shooting between 7 and 8% thus far on the season. In terms of shots on goal, the Dolphins have put 13 of their 27 shots on target, which really puts into perspective how limited the quality chances have been at times for this Dolphins team. Among their overall chances, there has been a lot of quality, but in terms of sheer quantity of those good chances, they've had 13 shots on goal. I would say just about all of them have been high-quality chances from in close. There have also been some attempts that have been blocked, and I think the Dolphins would be served very well by being decisive, being a bit quicker in terms of attempting shots around goal. They've had a bit of hesitancy at times to put shots toward goal from in close, and I think that's a big reason why we've seen a lot of their attempts from in close end up blocked. In terms of yellow cards, it's not often that we've seen this Dolphins team, the last few years anyway, committing more yellow card worthy fouls than the opposition, but the Dolphins have been assessed 9 yellow cards this year, the opposition just 7. Opponent goalkeepers, they've been forced to make just 11 saves this year. Dolphin goalkeeping has made 47 saves so far in the 6 matches. But something else that we've talked about as well, a lot of those numbers, not numbers that the team would be necessarily pleased with, but you do have a non-conference game on the schedule today. That gives you a chance to get things right, re-entering conference play next week. Of course, a big 2-game stretch coming up against Stack and D'Youville. Last year, that duo of teams were a couple of teams that the Dolphins had hoped to be competitive against. Those matches were played in the month of October last year, and those were matches that effectively decided the playoff fate of women's soccer last year. They were eliminated via a loss to D'Youville, but if you take a look at the ECC standings from last year, the Dolphins, of course, were on the outside looking in terms of the playoff picture. Same goes for D'Youville. The Dolphins 0-6-1 against the ECC. D'Youville just 1-6. Their lone win came against CSI in conference play. As for Stack, if memory serves me correctly, the Dolphins played Stack to a draw last year. That is the lone draw on the record for Stack in conference play last year. They finished 2-4-1 against the ECC. And taking a quick look back at the history between those two teams, I can confirm that the Spartans and Dolphins did draw. It was a 2-2 tie last year in a match played at the CSI Outdoor Track and Field Complex. So with starting lineups about to be introduced out on the pitch, I will get you those starting lineups quickly. We'll then throw it to break during the national anthem, and on the other side of that short break, we will have kickoff between the Dolphins and the Lightning. First, the starters for Goldey Beacom College in numerical order. Number 1, Malika Nunziata. Number 3, Ella Badra. Number 6, Natalie Ruiz. Number 7, Maria Munoz. Number 8, Jade Ballin. Number 9, Riley Dixon. Number 11, Tegan Ayers. Number 17, Lexi Yeager. Number 18, Miley Jones. Number 19, Tamara Trumich. And number 20, Tess Pierce. Starting lineup for the Dolphins in numerical order. Number 1, Brianna Dorr. She is in goal. Number 3, Phoebe Asola. Number 5, Millie Hunt. Number 7, Isabella Schlee. Number 8, Sarah O'Donnell. Number 10, Albana Jean-Balai. Number 11, Sydney Brown. Number 12, Gabriela Castro. Number 15, Anika Jurek. Number 17, Mia Cole. And number 30, Mazzy Serenelli. The Dolphins are coached by interim head coach Joseph Otomiwu. And with that, starting lineup introductions have just begun here at Dolphin Soccer Park. The national anthem will follow, so we will be back after a break of about 2.5 minutes. And following a message from the sponsors of Flow College, we will have kickoff between the Dolphins and the Lightning. That is coming up next right here on CSI Sportsnet. Stay with us.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And Follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. Joe Foreman back with you here on CSI Sportsnet as we are just moments away from kickoff between the College of Staten Island and Goldey Beacom College. Dolphins looking to snap a 3-match skid. Goldey Beacom still looking for their first win of the 2025 season. History between these two teams dominated by the Lightning. Goldey Beacom, a team that the Dolphins have yet to score a goal against, and that, of course, is a concerning statistic entering the game today, but I think it's even more concerning given the fact that the Dolphins have struggled on the attack the last couple of matches. Early in the season, the Dolphins picked up the win against Chestnut Hill in a game where they were on the wrong side of the shot tally. Since that victory in their second match, they have scored just one goal. That came against Roberts Wesleyan University in a game that saw the Dolphins take the lead. However, late in the first half, Roberts got even. They went on to score 3 unanswered goals on their way to a 3-1 victory over the Dolphins in conference play. Dolphins again taking on the Lightning today and looking to snap that scoreless skid. As for Goldey Beacom, you have to think this is a game they come in expecting to win. It is a game against a team that they've had plenty of success against. And I think just like the Dolphins can view this game as an opportunity to get right ahead of a pair of huge conference matches next week, the Lightning probably view this game in much the same way. It's a game that they come in expecting to win given the past history, and a game that I think they need to win. Much like the Dolphins, the game for Goldey Beacom, the game for CSI, of course, has no bearing in the conference standings. But for two teams that come in on a bit of a skid right now, This is a big one, I think, in terms of morale, especially as you enter the back half of the schedule. It's hard to believe the next match the Dolphins play will be in the month of October, already nearly 1 month in the books for the 2025 women's soccer season. The Dolphins hope that the second half of their schedule will be filled with some meaningful games that could very well determine whether or not they are able to achieve their first postseason berth as a Division II program. In order to do that, they will need to play well next week. I think those two games against two teams that were on the outside looking in and right on the fringe of an East Coast Conference playoff spot last year, games against two programs in that position are games that you certainly have circled on your calendar if you're CSI. However, you cannot look past this one as you take on a Lightning team that has presented a big challenge for you in years past. It appears we are ready for kickoff, awaiting the official's whistle. The hold-up signal being given. It looks like they are counting the players out there on the pitch. They have confirmed 11 per side, and we are underway from Dolphins Soccer Park. The Lightning in navy jerseys with white numbers kicked off to get us started as Cirinelli has a quick takeaway for the Dolphins. She moves into the attacking third, look to center it in the middle of the pitch for Schlee, who has a takeaway. Schlee's shot is blocked. An aggressive attempt early by Isabella Schlee, the freshman midfielder out of Baltimore, Maryland. The two teams contest for possession in the midfield, taken by the Lightning. Ball still with Goldey Beacom. Badra played it back. That one sent over toward the sideline by Balin. And a long way up the pitch from there. Giving chase, Riley Dixon. 3 Dolphins closing in as Hunt will clear it over the far side. And Cirinelli got there to cut it off. It did not travel over the touchline. Dolphins look to move forward into the midfield. Cirinelli being given some space. Wanted to play Urick through. Now, I'm not sure if our great public address announcer, Joe Calabrese, had some pronunciations that I do not, but he pronounced Annika's last name as Urick, so I will go with what he said. Free kick awarded to Goldie here. It's sent toward the near side. Waiting for it was Munoz. Munoz plays it back short to Ayers. Back to Munoz. Lightning taking their time, methodically trying to build something as they finally play it up the sideline. Good first touch there, and Cirinelli with a strong tackle earns possession for CSI. Asola working toward the center of the pitch off the heel of Urick with that ball. The Lightning not really getting much of a chance to counter quickly the other way. They switch play toward that far side. This is Pierce. Pierce gives it up as once again the Lightning work it toward the near side, and both Munoz and Castro closing on that ball. Didn't get there. It rolls over the touchline for a Dolphins throw. This one will roll into the arms of Nunziata, though she played it with the foot. Looked like she might scoop it up initially, chose not to. Ball sent through the midfield by Goldie, headed by Brown. Schlee to Mia Cole. Cole gets it away to Hunt. Hunt. Short pass. Jean Belay. She avoids a challenge. Working across the midfield stripe with some speed. Jean Belay, good ball for Asola. A bit too strong on that touch. Asola couldn't corral it, and the Lightning will send it back toward the midfield. O'Donnell up to Cirinelli. Cirinelli, tight window, couldn't get it through for Schlee. The Lightning looking to cross midfield here. Dolphins close by. Could not regain possession. It stays with Goldey Beacom as they work it back across the midfield logo. And over to the near side for Munoz. Munoz wanted a give and go. Castro well aware, but Munoz wins the foot race to that ball. Munoz Look to play it toward the center of the pitch. And it ends up being taken by Cole. Cole onto the foot of Jean Belay. Dolphins looking to build something quickly here. Jean Belay to Urick. Urick plays Asola through. Asola absorbs the contact. Urick working toward the touchline. Chance to cross. She does. And it is over. Nunziata rolling toward the opposite sideline. Cirinelli there. Now Cole with some space. Put one toward goal. It was deflected on the way in. Ball trapped between a pair of bodies there. As Goldey Beacom sends it toward the sideline. It comes to rest short of the touchline. And Dixon is cut off by O'Donnell. Good defensive play there. O'Donnell looking for Urick. That ball knocked down in the back by Ayers. And again sent across midfield, this time onto the foot of Hunt. Dorr will send this one into the midfield. It bounces up in the air. Cirinelli. Dispossessed. Strong tackle there and a good challenge by Dixon. Dixon speeds past Brown. Dixon working toward the box. Crosses. And it's through everybody. Castro working up the near side. And I'm not sure Munoz expected Castro to follow that one through the sideline. This is Yeager. Now, Lexi's name was not on the pronunciation guide. Typically, I would pronounce that Yeager, and I did during lineups, as Urick is through. The Dolphins have a chance. Urick shoots. On goal and in! It's off the fist of Nunziata and beneath the bar. As the Dolphins strike first in the early going. They lead it 1-0 as Annika Urick puts one just over the arm of Nunziata. We'll get one more look at it right here. It all started with the ball from Cirinelli well beyond midfield. She sent it a long way up the pitch, right on target, splitting the backs of Goldey Beacom, finding the foot of Urick, and Urick made no mistake on that strike as she puts it off the fist of Nunziata and beneath the bar. Dolphins lead it 1-0 with 39 minutes remaining here in half number one. Urick, with her first of the season, puts the Dolphins in front. And for the third time now, in their first 7 matches, the Dolphins have struck first. That is something that was problematic at times last year. The Dolphins often were playing from behind and had a bit of a tough time overcoming early deficits. The opposition able to play a bit more defensively with a lead. And when that lead is extended to multiple goals, the Dolphins were put in a position where they typically could not get back into matches. And once again, here today, the Dolphins strike first, go in front, and we'll see if they can hold on to this lead. And if so, that would bode well for them entering conference play. You know this is a game the Dolphins would like to have. It's so easy early in the season to discount the non-conference games and look at them as games that don't matter much. And we get that all the time when we have new staff that come in, not familiar with the collegiate game day experience. They effectively ask me, do the conference games count? As Dixon works into the box, short pass, a good one, shot, blocked wide. That was dangerous. Hunt getting in front of it, blocked it, but it went wide. And Goldey Beacom will earn a corner. Here's one more look at that last attempt as Hunt blocks it wide of the frame. Double duty for me today. Your play-by-play commentator, stream engineer, stream director, producer, all of the above. That one crossed and headed toward goal. Dangerous spot. And headed over the touchline once again by CSI. Goldey will try again from the corner. Second corner of the match for the Lightning, both coming back-to-back in this last minute. That's sent toward the box, over everybody, and over the touchline. Goal kick, Staten Island after a flurry from the Lightning. Proved to be mildly threatening. That shot, that was blocked by Hunt. Certainly on target and very, very easily could have been blocked in. As Cole with a poor touch puts it right on the foot of Dixon. Her pass, center of the pitch, on target, in the box, shot! Sent wide. Another quality chance. That one off the foot of Yeager. We'll get a look at that again once we have a stoppage. But the Dolphins, with a bad giveaway, nearly had another right there, and the Lightning do take it. The Dolphins, as Aaron mentioned the other day, have had a lot of trouble building out of their own end. Goldey Beacom taking advantage. Another chance here. That shot stopped by Dorr. It ended up just a bit wide. But Dorr, of course, had to make sure she got in front of it. Here's a quick look at the Dolphin giveaway. That led to a shot. And a dangerous shot it was. Sent wide there. Once we have a stoppage, we'll get another look at the second shot, perhaps. But the Dolphins, these last couple of minutes, under quite a bit of pressure. Lightning look to work into the midfield. That's off the heel of Urick. We're under 35 minutes to go here in half number one. Just over 10 minutes gone by from the College of Staten Island. Possession with the Lightning. They work it up the far side. Dixon on the receiving end of that through ball. Chance for a pass once again cut off by O'Donnell. Dolphins have been challenged quite a bit from that far sideline, working up that wing. Dixon has been effective. She's looked to work it toward the center of the pitch near the top of the 18, not really looking to put those crosses toward the goal mouth. And I think the Dolphin defense on that last ball was wise to that approach. Easily cut off by O'Donnell as that one's off the foot of Nunziata and right onto the foot of Castro. Wanted Urick on the short pass, and the Lightning are forced to clear. So the Dolphins with a takeaway of their own there, not quite the same as what we saw on the other side when Goldey intercepted off the foot of Cole, but the Dolphins earn a throw, and they throw into the box towards Schlee, and it is headed over the touchline. Probably not what the Lightning wanted to do there, but when you attempt that long throw and send one into that area right along the touchline, forcing the opposition to head it, that's certainly a possibility as that cross finds a pair of Lightning defenders. It's chipped in the air onto the foot of O'Donnell. She got rid of it for Cole. Right back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell shoots, and it's stopped by Nunziata. That turned into a scoring chance rather quickly off what I would consider a failed clearance. Dolphins take it away again. Good quick passing there. Urick circles back, tried to play it over to Castro, but Munoz wise to it. Ball on the foot of Munoz again. Played back to Ayers. Up the far side, Cirinelli with good defensive play is pushed down, and a foul was called. Cirinelli's done a very good job marking in the midfield, and her challenges have been strong. That one no different. The Dolphins have it once again. O'Donnell up the pitch for Urick, and Castro knows she is offsides. No question about that one. I'm without my aspiring official colleague, Aaron Cohen. He is, by default, the soccer expert on our crew. Hopefully we get a chance to hear from Aaron again on Sportsnet during the soccer season. It's a sport very near and dear to him. He played at the collegiate level, and he brings an expertise that Nick and I admittedly lack at times to the broadcast. We thank Aaron for joining us on Wednesday. He is the play-by-play voice of Rutgers Newark, if I'm not mistaken. Or perhaps it's NJCU. I know he worked at Rutgers Newark at one point. I'm not sure if he's still lending his voice. It might be NJCU where he lends his voice today, working alongside former assistant SID here at CSI, Tom Krichkowski. Formerly managed the game day staff that I was a part of beginning 10 years ago. It's been a roller coaster ride of 10 years, both on and off the pitch. Of course, in the middle of that, the move to D2 for this program. A lot of different titles and roles for me, and a lot of ups and downs for this women's soccer program. Hoping to maintain an upward trajectory here at the D2 level as the Dolphins now, hard to believe, it's been, I believe, 7 years since their last Division III postseason eligibility, but they were a team that was very much in the conference championship conversation at the Division III level, playing in the CUNYAC. I believe I did see them win one in person. They certainly won one during my tenure. I believe I was there to see it. But for those interested in the D3 history of women's soccer, we have a great history landing page over at csidolphins.com put together after the conclusion of CSI's time in Division II. Make that Division III, entering Division II. This is Jean Belay with the ball here. Looking to play a Sola through, and it looks like the backs for Goldey Beacom may have quit on that one just a bit too early. Fortunately, Nunziata, aware of that run by Asola, came up and scooped it off the turf. I got my start on the game day staff in the winter of 2016. The Dolphins were in the midst of what would ultimately become a four-peat as CUNYAC champions 2015 through 2018. The Dolphins won it every season. I believe it was that 2018 championship that I covered in person, the videographer for that game. One of the first events I covered on the road with CSI. Hunt tracking this ball down, clears it over the side. But CSI Sportsnet, during its infancy, covered road games. And that's something that today most of the programs the Dolphins are visiting, if not all, have covered. Not really much of a need to travel on the road to cover a road contest anymore. Back when Sportsnet began in the mid-2000s, that wasn't nearly as common. Of course, former SID David Pizzuto alongside Mike Babusky, founding CSI Sportsnet. We still use one of the OG jingles to this day as part of our introduction to each broadcast here on Flow College. But with my entering of a 10th season, I've now been on the call for more than half of Sportsnet's history. And for the Dolphins women's soccer program, that history has been filled with a lot of success. 7 CUNYAC championships won by this program from 2007 when Sportsnet was founded through 2018. And the Dolphins looking to make history this year with their first Division II postseason berth. And Sportsnet very much looking forward. I know I speak for all of our crew when we say that we're looking forward to being a part of that when it happens. And we got a taste of it with the men. They are in action next, and we'll be playing a big conference match. Dolphins take on Malloy University. Coming up immediately following this one, about 30 minutes between matches for warm-ups, and then we get underway. As Schley's pass intended for Urich was broken up, throw in for the Dolphins. Possession with the Lightning as Jean Belay was taken down, but I believe she was whistled for the foul. And it will be a free kick for the Lightning. Just under 27 minutes to go here in the first half. CSI lead is 1-0. Brown works it to the midfield. That pass deflected off one of the Lightning backs and ends up with the Dolphins. Asola racing in toward the box. Looked to center it and could not get it over to Urick. O'Donnell tried to keep it with CSI. Make that Schley who tried to keep it with CSI. Couldn't do it. The Lightning facing a bit of pressure here. The Dolphins putting a lot of bodies around the ball. There's a good play there by Hunt, denying Munoz space. And Hunt gets it over to Urick. Urick over to Hunt. Hunt looked to play one in with the left foot. Now Urick does the same with the right foot. Schley couldn't find any room to turn as that's sent into the air. Headed by O'Donnell in the midfield. She tries again with the head. Sean Belay with a nice first touch and a quick turn. Urick shoots on target and saved. Generally a non-threatening chance there, but it was on target. Those are attempts where if you can elevate them enough, you end up with a goal much like the one we saw earlier. You put it high enough, force the goalkeeper to leap, and every once in a while it will roll off the fingertips or off a fist and just beneath the bar. The Dolphins, the beneficiaries of such a bounce earlier in this half to put them ahead 1-0. That ball didn't want to come down for a bit there. Cirinelli finally controls. There's a good ball toward Urick. Urick on sides, moving toward the edge of the box, onto the foot of Castro, and Castro's shot is over everything. They'll get Goldey Beacom a new soccer ball here, as the Lightning will have a goal kick. We are approaching the midway point here in the first half, about 2 minutes shy of that now. Dolphins still leading 1-0, but this is as much control as we've seen the Dolphins have. And again, Urick tries a shot, that one wide, but this is as much control as we've seen the Dolphins have over time of possession in a match this year. I think that's without a doubt through the first nearly 21 minutes. I think if you're interim head coach Odomiwu and the CSI staff, you have to be pretty pleased with what you've seen so far. And what we've seen is a good bounce-back effort in the early going from the match on Wednesday against Malloy. And I think, as I mentioned during the pregame, I touched on it anyway, when you look at the conference schedule and how the standings played out last year, the next two matches are big. Stack and D'Youville, two teams that finished 6 and 7 in the conference standings. The top 6 make the playoffs. And going into those two matches, if you're the Dolphins, I think your goal has to be 3 points. You need to win one and certainly come away with points in the other. And if you do that, you position yourself to at the very least have some control over your playoff fate come the end of the year. I think you come away with 3, and you put yourself in a position where you're going to at least be playing meaningful soccer during the stretch run. And I think as a program and certainly as a broadcaster, that makes it a lot more exciting come the stretch run. So perhaps showing my bias a bit, I hope to see that down the stretch. And I know this Dolphins team is looking forward to the potential of a playoff push late in the year. I'd hope to make it to D'Youville as well as Stack, but it looks like for now it's just going to be Stack. We'll be covering both the men's and women's game audio only. We encourage you to pair that with the video broadcast on Flow College from Spark Hill. That, of course, hosted by the Spartans. I believe they call their network Spartan TV or Spartan Vision. Brad will correct me when I see him on Wednesday. Won't be Sportsnet's first trip to Spark Hill, as Nick mentioned earlier in the week. He and I covered the East Coast Conference Softball Championship last year. That was hosted by the Spartans. We got a chance to hang out with a large portion of the crew and the conference administrators in Spark Hill. It was a great time. Had a blast covering that event. And I believe moving forward now, it will be the championship host sites that will be covering the conference championships. Last year, Nick and I covered it on behalf of the ECC. Don't think that's how it's going to work again this year, but I told them anytime they need me, I'll be there, assuming the Dolphins aren't hosting, as the Lightning have a bad giveaway. A solo will shoot, and once again, Nunziata forced to make the save. We have seen quite a few miscues early. This one a giveaway by Goldey Beacom, and once we have a stoppage, we'll get a look at it. There's a good ball for Dixon. Quick turn, strong touch. She's in on goal, looking to shoot, and she scores. Riley Dixon nets the equalizer as Goldey Beacom knots up the score at 1 with 20:45 to go here in half number 1. And the Dolphins are certainly going to lament this opportunity. This replay begins with the Lightning giveaway. We are going to run it back from the beginning, though it appears we just missed that giveaway. Instead, it's a good ball up the sideline, and Dixon does the rest. Played into the attacking third, beats a pair of markers, working with a third in the area, manages to find the shooting lane and put that one into the back of the net. We are all even at 1 goal per side. And I think that's one where if you're the Dolphins, and again, I hate to use the strong language, but I think it makes you sick. A goal like that, you had the bodies there. It looked like Dixon mostly was up there on her own and had to weave through a lot of traffic. That's a goal that you hate to concede, especially during a half where you've dominated possession for the most part. The Lightning have had a couple of corner kicks. They had a flurry during that stretch with the 2 corners. They had some pressure applied during that brief window, but the Dolphins outside of that have done a great job. And to see that squandered in a sequence that transpired quickly really hurts. As John Belai looking for a solo who knocks it down, and there's a good, strong clearance by Miley Jones. That ball played off the head of O'Donnell, bounces into the midfield, headed over to Jean Belai. The Dolphins now with some room. Urick working toward the box. Urick toward goal, just over the bar. Another good effort there on the strike by Urick. Sent it just a bit high. Here's one more look at it ahead of the goal kick. But Urick with a good effort once again. And Urick has been impactful in her brief tenure as a Dolphin, now coming toward the end of her first month of game action with the program. And she's definitely been at the forefront of this Dolphins attack. And in this match, has put several quality shots toward goal. There have been some substitutions in this match. On the CSI side, Karina Vasquez is in. I apologize if I've missed additional subs. On the side of the Lightning, I know there were at least 1 or 2 changes as well. Nova Gavvert among them. She's in there, as Urick nearly got there, but Ayers played the angle nicely and was able to clear it, at least clear it a short distance. That ball sent through the midfield and played with the body, but Jensen wasn't able to corral it. We mentioned Jensen during the pregame. She entered this match as the only player on either team with multiple goals. And you don't often see that in a month, or I should say closing in on the last month. Most teams, not all, but most teams typically go with the Wednesday-Saturday schedule split, at least in the ECC. Some teams will play on Tuesday as well. I've seen that a lot more out of conference, at least relative to the Dolphins out of conference. And I know that for the Goldey Beacom contingent tuning in, some, not all, but some may have made the decision to purchase a Flow College subscription today. Of course, we thank all of our Dolphins supporters who have done that and been with us all season long. The viewership numbers, at least by my estimation, have been very good. We haven't had viewership data from Huddle in a very long time, so I don't know what kind of numbers we were putting up last year. But taking a look at the progression with each stream, the viewership numbers have increased, as that's a good ball. Jean Belay, she's through, down she goes, and a whistle comes in for what I believe will be a free kick just outside the 18. Here's a quick look at the contact. Jean Belay going down, and you can see the crowd with their opinion being made known right on the edge of the frame. But for Jean Belay now, it's going to be a free kick in a very dangerous spot. It looks like she will indeed be the one to take it. Always a chance to play this toward the middle of the box as well for a quick shot. The Lightning will have to be aware of Dolphins looking to make that short run. It looks like they are aware of Urich. Jean Belay will shoot high. Put way too much on that one. But the Dolphins in this match, we mentioned that shot quantity had been a problem. They've had some quality. 13 of their 27 shots on goal coming in, but of those 13, I would say at least 10 of them have been of good quality or better. Though, to be fair, those shots that I've mentioned, the ones blocked, are not credited as shot on goal, of course, and I think a lot of shots that would have been on goal and been among that tally of quality shots, many of those were blocked, and I think if they're a bit more decisive, a bit quicker, some of those blocked shots are avoided, and I know that's something this team will be working on throughout the season and moving forward into a pair of big conference games next week. We've entered the final 15 minutes here in the first half. The Dolphins and Lightning tied at 1. Once again, Joe Foreman on the call solo here today. Do expect to be rejoined by our regular crew come the next broadcast. That is a long ways away on October 15th. However, over on the Sportsnet YouTube channel, you can catch the CSI season opener, our big swim invite, formerly known as the CSI invite. I believe they're calling it the CSI season kickoff or the CSI season opener now, but a big meet gets things started this weekend. We will have a video stream, at least we expect to. We have to work out the logistics of camera positioning and making sure our viewing angle encompasses the whole pool. But we're going to try and get to work on that today, figure that out, and then once we have a final setup ready to go, we will have the entire meet for you streaming live on CSI Sportsnet's YouTube channel 1 week from today, October 4th. This is Urich splitting a pair of defenders. Urich shot on target and easily saved. Urich has been really busy in this first half, has done a lot of good work for the Dolphins on the attack, has been at the forefront of the attack for CSI, and already has a goal on the ledger. Given how many chances she's had, I think it would be fair to say she has a good chance for more. And That ball takes a good bounce onto the foot of John Belay, but the flag was up. The collective gasp here at Dolphin Soccer Park made you think for a moment that perhaps that flag had not gone up, but it surely had. Urick has already registered 5 shots in this match, 3 on target. 5 other Dolphins with a shot as well. Lightning working up the far side, play it to the corner. Dixon trying to get around O'Donnell, couldn't do it. It was off of O'Donnell. And the Lightning will throw. Inside of 12 minutes to go in the half. The throw to the edge of the box. Dixon had hoped to turn instead. Was able to find Jensen, who made a bid for goal number 3. Her shot high. Too much elevation on that one. Dolphins set for a goal kick. Doors goal kick sent toward the near side. Castro there waiting. She finds Caitlin Thompson, who is among the Dolphins substitutions, along with Riley Hammond. Asola was able to stop that ball and find Urick. Good recovery there by Asola. Urick looking for some room, couldn't find any. Does find Castro. Castro wanted Jean Belay, it's headed away. Asola was waiting for it to come down. Here come the Lightning again through the midfield, but that ball had way too much on it. The Lightning did make a couple of substitutions. Jenna Campagna into the game. I believe there was one more substitution announced in. We'll get that momentarily as Goldey Beacom clears. Dolphins continue to send on some substitutions. Looks like a 1-for-1 here with Sabrina Dorr checking in. It was Stein Solvik who checked in alongside Campagna for Goldey Beacom as the clock winds down inside of 10 minutes to go. Final 9:35 of this first half. The Dolphins and Lightning even at a goal per side. The Dolphins break through with their first goal in program history against Goldey Beacom. The Lightning hoping for a go-ahead goal and ultimately what would be their first win. Ball in a dangerous spot here. The Lightning have had some trouble controlling it, and they can't, as Thompson was a bit strong on that touch, and the Lightning get another chance. That one sent toward goal and blocked on the way in by Hunt. Hammond finds Jean Belay, and the Dolphins may have a chance for a counter. Jean Belay crosses midfield, working into the attacking third. Stumbled over the ball briefly, circles back, and will slow things down. Thompson looking toward the near side. This is Castro. Castro toward the center of the pitch. Dorr hoped to turn, couldn't do it. And it's cleared away by Goldey Beacom. Lightning get the rebound out of the midfield right back. And we'll work up the far side, or perhaps not. Ball in the back as they look to build out of their own end. Not much on that pass. Into the game for Goldey Beacom as well. Lainey Pennington. This is Vasquez tracking that one down, and that ball almost a really bad giveaway for the Dolphins, and you could feel the tension in the building as that ball rolled slowly toward Dixon. O'Donnell had to come in with a sliding challenge to keep it away from her. Dolphins will throw. 7:40 to go in the half. Castro. For Urick. Urick wanted Dorr. A lot of contact from Munoz. Good defensive play there. Initially, it looked like Dorr may have been able to absorb that contact. The Lightning looking to move up the far side. Just over 7 minutes to go now in the first half. This is Hammond. Hammond. Urick. Sends one into the box, but nobody home. Under 7 minutes to go. That one sent toward the sideline, and Lightning almost coughed it up along the touchline there. That would have given the Dolphins a throw. Not far from the corner. That one barely got by Urick as well. Bit of a sloppy sequence there, but a chance to make up for it quickly now as Dixon couldn't get a foot on that ball if she had. There was a lot of space. Both teams had some miscues, particularly in terms of giveaways. Dolphins had one that led directly to a scoring chance. The Lightning also with a giveaway that led directly to a Dolphin shot. Dorr in the air for Urick. Urick stumbled, and the Lightning take it. That ball headed toward Jean Belay. Jean Belay plays it forward. And was she last to touch it? Yes, she was. Substitution coming on for Goldey Beacom ahead of this Lightning throw. Alexa Cece will check in. Maria Munoz will head to the bench. Off the throw, and the Dolphins control it. But Castro's ball off target. Dorr, the nearest attacker. Giveaway by Goldey Beacom in the midfield this time. Jean Belay looking toward Castro. That's where she sends it. Castro toward the box, and Dorr making a run. Did not get there in time. A good attempt on that ball. Dorr probably a step or two behind it. And it will be a Lightning goal kick with just over 4 minutes to play in the half. Ball played into the midfield. And the Dolphins applying a lot of pressure here. You get the sense that this team's becoming more and more comfortable as Thompson puts one on goal from a long way out. Perhaps trying to use the element of surprise to her advantage right there, because I don't think anybody expected a shot in that scenario. That would have been some finish if she was able to put that one in. Jean Belay for Dorr. Dorr moving forward. Avoids a challenge. Was that deflected? It won't matter as it winds up in the arms of Nunziata. O'Donnell. Waiting to cross midfield. She does. Wants Castro. And Nunziata scoops it up. Under 3 minutes to go in the half. Collision there. Play on, says the official. Hammond back to O'Donnell. Now Thompson for Hunt. Hunt for Jean Belay. She has it just beyond midfield. Back to Hunt. Now Hammond for Castro. And Castro's down, a bit shaken up. Looked to be grabbing at that shin. Foul was whistled there. And it will be a free kick for the Dolphins. O'Donnell will take the free kick. Just over 90 seconds to go in the first half. That's sent toward the box. It skips short of the 18. Hammond will control it. Now Cirinelli. Cirinelli wanted to give it back to Hammond. It pinballs around. Cirinelli controls again. Plays it toward goal. And just a bit too far in front of Urick. Break up there by Castro, and Castro definitely showing signs of discomfort after taking a shot to the leg before. Final minute of the half. Ball skips through the midfield, out of play over the touchline. Throw in for the Dolphins. We'll see if we have some more late half scoring. We've seen that quite a bit on Sportsnet here this year. It appears there's just something about those final seconds that lights a fire under these attacks. Urick wants Jean Belay. Jean Belay through, and the shot was blocked on the way in. What a defensive play by Miley Jones. And the Dolphins will need to hurry. You can be sure we'll get a look at that again before halftime. But with 15 seconds to go in the half, the Dolphins set up for a corner. 12 seconds on the venue clock. We are synced about perfectly. That one off a Dolphin attacker's foot. It's still loose. And down goes Urick. Play continues. And I think a foul would have ended the half on Thompson. But time does indeed run out. And we have reached halftime from Dolphin Soccer Park. Though it almost was not so. We'll get a look at this replay as we send it to break. The Dolphins very nearly going in front right here as they find the foot of Jean Belay. A good first touch to get herself through, and the shot was blocked by Jones. That is a huge, huge play from the junior defender out of Pemberton, New Jersey. So we have reached halftime from Dolphin Soccer Park. Once again, the Dolphins and the Lightning all knotted up at 1 goal per side. We will throw it to a message from the sponsors of Flow College, and when we come back, the second half of action from the College of Staten Island.
We've learned a lot from him, and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Break it! Break it!
when you spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
If you want to win in every arena of college life, go D2. Make it yours.
Joe Foreman back with you here on CSI Sportsnet as we are about set to begin the second half between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the Goldey Beacom College Lightning. We are all knotted up at 1 through the first 45 minutes after the Dolphins got in front with the first goal of the match off the foot of Annika Urick. The Lightning then responded with a really strong attacking play and subsequent goal by Riley Dixon. That goal came relatively late in that first half, and we're underway in half number 2. The Dolphins hoping to snap a 3-match losing skid. The Lightning looking for their first win of the season. Both teams had good moments in that first half. Both did some things well in that half. But I think for both sides, they're going to look for a bit of a stronger half start to finish than they had in the first half. The Dolphins, during that first half, really controlled possession for, I'd say, much of the first 20 to 25 minutes. And they had almost exclusively all of the scoring chances outside of a brief flurry by Goldey Beacom where they had back-to-back corners. And really, aside from that, the Lightning didn't do much in terms of generating chances. That, however, changed with their goal. And it seemed like the Goldey Beacom goal really jump-started things for the Lightning. And from there, they played much better for the rest of the half. The Dolphins did have a great chance late. Albana Jean-Balai in on goal. Made a nice move to beat her marker after a through ball played her into the center of the box. And the shot was stopped via a tremendous defensive play, a sliding block by Miley Jones. And I think you could make the case that the defensive effort from Jones is the reason why this game is still even at 1. Were it not for that sliding challenge and the block of the shot from Jean-Balai that resulted, I think the Dolphins probably have a 2-1 lead going into halftime. But we'll never know. And if you're the Dolphins, halftime a chance to regroup and try and recapture what you had early in this match. And there's a good way to start. That's headed on to the foot of Urick. Urick on the edge of the box, had it knocked away, and I'll have to get used to the new pronunciation I've received for Annika's last name. It's been about a month of saying it incorrectly, so I apologize for that. Rodriguez giving chase here for the Dolphins. Jones didn't need to clear it, gets it away, and the Lightning will regroup. I mentioned the Dolphins looking to recapture some of the stellar attacking play they had early in this match, control over possession time. If you're the Lightning, I think you're looking to limit the giveaways. We've seen how giveaways have set them up in dangerous situations already. Limit those, especially down around your own goal. That goes without saying. But I think if you can do that, a lot of what has been a problem for them, building attacks out of the back and getting to work quickly, they can fix that if they stop the giveaways. There's another long through ball attempted. Jean-Balai with it, and Urick is offside. But Riley Dixon has been a major factor in this game. During the first half, she was working on the wing along the far side, and a great ball set her up. But from there, she put in plenty of good work to create the Goldey Beacom score, and was well deserving of that goal. And as I mentioned at the time, the Dolphins, I use the word sick, but they had to be extremely disappointed with that particular attacking play resulting in a score, because they had the bodies there between Dixon and goal. It did not appear as if the ball to Dixon initially would create a threatening scoring chance, but sure enough, Dixon made a great play and got this game even. 4 minutes gone by here in the second half. O'Donnell plays it into the midfield off the foot of Jean-Balai. Jean-Balai, short pass to the sideline for Hunt. Hunt wanted Urick there, couldn't corral it on the volley, and again, ball ends up on the foot of Nunziata. This is Jones surveying. That's sent into the midfield. Aggressive play there by Nagel to try and take it away, but she knocked it over the touchline. Quick throw in for the Lightning. That one got by Balin, and it was knocked down by Jean Belay. Rodriguez giving chase here. She's got it on her foot now. Cirinelli working toward the center of the pitch. Sends one well wide of goal. Nunziata plays it short to Ayers. This is Jean Belay for Urich. For Thompson. And Thompson is beaten to the spot by Jones. Another good defensive play from Jones. We've said that more than once in this match already. Thompson, definitely a player capable of finishing for this Dolphins team, among the leading goal scorers from last year. The leading goal scorer among returners for this women's soccer program. Charsky kept that one in along the touchline, a bit too long for Urich, and sent over the far side by Goldey Beacom for a Dolphins throw. Hammond. Into the box. It was headed back the other way. And a lot of contact there. The foul will go against Riley Hammond. Free kick for the Lightning as we approach 38 minutes to go. Free kick was sent into the midfield. Cirinelli checking her surroundings. Has it. Rodriguez met by two defenders. Got it away for Cirinelli again. Cirinelli toward the center of the pitch for Hammond. Now Hunt. Wanted Thompson. Jean Belay couldn't get there. And the flag was up anyway. Certainly an opportunity there for the Dolphins. And it's going to be a free kick following the offsides. Nunziata into the midfield. Pierce knocked it down. Two Dolphins there defending. Pierce plays it back. Solvik. Across the midfield stripe, Dixon looking for the quick turn. Dixon racing into the attacking third. Gave it up. Munoz back for Dixon. Dixon short cross, didn't get enough air on it. It was knocked down. Nagel was there defensively. It stays with Goldey Beacom. This is Pierce. Pierce with a shooting lane puts one on goal, but an easy save for Brianna Dorr. First test for Dorr here in the second half. Not a challenging stop. That's a good first shot to see if you're a goalkeeper. Get you back in the swing of things here in the second half. Shots on goal, 5-3, favoring Staten Island. Corner kicks even at 2. And our score even at 1 with just over 36 minutes to play. Munoz racing into the attacking third. Good defensive play there by Thompson, but Munoz took it away again. That one skipped off the foot of Dixon, and I think the Dolphins are fortunate that she could not turn. It will be a throw-in along the far side inside of 36 minutes to go. Throw-in taken quickly by the Lightning. Jensen wanted to shoot there, could not get the shot off. This is Rodriguez. Her pass off the mark for Urich. Jones toward the near side. Solvik. Pierce. Facing some pressure. Here come the Lightning again. Ballin had to wait a bit. That ball played toward the corner. Thompson absorbs the contact. Good physical play there. Dolphins continue to pressure, trying to win possession back. Cirinelli finally has it. She plays it up the sideline. It stays in. Solvik electing to play it rather than let it roll. And her ball across the pitch almost found the opposite bench. Ayers tracks it down. Ball with Goldey Beacom in the midfield. Dangerous pass there. Rodriguez in the area and committed the foul. That's a big one. If that foul is not whistled, Dolphins have a great chance, but I think that was the right call. Once again, the Lightning look to work through the midfield. Ballin gave it up, and Ruiz very quickly tried to get it back to her. Couldn't do it. And now Urich along the midfield stripe looking for somewhere to go with it. This is Nagel. Nagel wants Rodriguez. Lightning wanted the flag up. They don't get it, but that ball too far in front of Rodriguez. Once again, ball with Goldey Beacom. Quick whistle. And I think it rolled over the touchline, so the Lightning could not keep it in. And the Dolphins will throw. Dolphins still looking for their first opportunity here in the second half. Have yet to test Nunziata in half number 2. Thompson circles back, sent it off Cirinelli. Taken by Dixon. Ruiz for Munoz. Munoz across midfield. Nagel in pursuit. Munoz for Dixon. No flag, but a strong tackle by Cirinelli to keep Dixon from turning and putting a shot on. Now another chance here. Skip just a bit wide. Dorr corrals it, and the threat comes to an end. But Goldey Beacom, once again, putting together a good string of passes, leading to a quality shot. And Dorr made the stop a bit wide of the frame. Dolphins certainly being tested here in the second half. Solvik. Short pass to Pierce. Once again, the Lightning looking to build out of their own end. And I don't think it's coincidence. They've cleaned up some of those bad giveaways, and their attacking pressure has been strong early in this second half. Dolphins playing on their heels just a bit now. As Cirinelli attempted the sliding tackle, Pierce keeps it. Ruiz, top of the box, shot, on target and in! Natalie Ruiz puts Goldey Beacom in front by a goal with a strike from several yards outside the 18. We'll get one more look at it in just a moment as Goldey Beacom goes in front by a score of 2-1, and we will have to wait on that replay as our stream did go down during halftime. The replay capture not enabled. However, Ruiz with the powerful strike put it past Dorr. And Goldey Beacom now leads CSI 2-1 with 32:10 remaining in the second half. And you could just sense it. Goldey Beacom had cleaned up their passing in their own end, had not committed that crucial giveaway in the first 13 minutes or so here in half number 2. And upon cleaning things up and stringing together some good passes in the attacking third, they generate the go-ahead goal with just over 32 minutes to go in this match, now inside of 32. Following kickoff, and the Lightning are right back to work. This is Pierce. Pierce working toward the center of the pitch. Hammond over to Cirinelli. The Dolphins working into the midfield, albeit a bit slowly. Jean Belay taking her time. Cirinelli now off the the head of Ruiz. It bounces right over to Hunt. Hunt across midfield. Castro, takeaway. Munoz with the takeaway. Wants Jensen. O'Donnell right there. Those two come together, and it's going to be a Dolphins throw. Castro will throw. And that's headed out of play. CSI to throw again here. Short throw couldn't be handled by Thompson. And now a chance if Goldey Beacom can work quickly here. Solvik across midfield with some speed. Cirinelli right there with her. And Charsky went knee to knee with Solvik. That drew a grimace from Charsky. Those not pleasant. Free kick taken by Charsky. Bounces onto the foot of Castro. Urick along the sideline has Castro moving forward with some speed. Urick plays one into the box. There's nobody there. Dolphins a bit reserved in making a run there. They had bodies gathered a bit outside the 18, but nobody that close. And that's something Aaron mentioned during our last broadcast. The forwards a bit reserved in making their run as Dixon moves in, looking to work around Charsky. Her shot bends wide. Goal kick, Staten Island. But Aaron mentioned that it seemed as if the forwards and attackers ahead of the ball were checking over their shoulder before making their run rather than trusting the ball to be there. That doesn't necessarily apply in that situation with the ball out on the wing, wide of the attackers and ahead of them. It just seemed like that ball was played to an area where there were simply no Dolphins and no chance for anything on the attack, barring a very favorable bounce. This is Cirinelli. Now Jean Belay back to Thompson. Thompson for Hunt. Right back to Thompson. Thompson gets into one toward goal over the bar. And we said it earlier, Thompson, no stranger to those long strikes, and that one was a good attempt from a long way out. Here is one more look at it. Thompson gets into one, and you could see that beginning to take shape. As Thompson took a couple of strides toward that ball, you could sense it. And Thompson came much closer on that one than she did on the first. This ball up the sideline. Dixon racing into the attacking third, setting up a cross. It's blocked partially by the Dolphins. Dorr will track it down and scoop it up. Dorr will send this one right along the midfield stripe. It's on the foot of Thompson. And I get the feeling that Goldey Beacom probably won't let her get her leg behind another long strike again. I think they're going to play her a bit more closely. And the Dolphins perhaps can use that to their advantage on the attack. This ball lands in front of Urick. And easily getting to it was Ayers, playing it back to the keeper. Ayers short pass Munoz. Munoz moving ahead into the midfield. Surrounded by Dolphins, she coughs it up. Hammond now. Hammond looking for Urick. Urick is going to get there, just barely. She plays one in front. Hammond with the header! Saved wide! What a stop by Nunziata! And the Dolphins are awarded the corner kick. We'll get a look at it from in tight very quickly as it looks like the whistle has come out. That's a look from in close, but the corner kick is upcoming. I thought perhaps we had a substitution. The Dolphins say they will wait. The Dolphins with their best chance of this half. Corner coming toward the back post, headed back in play. Good job by Hammond there. O'Donnell had a foot on it. It's still loose, and the Lightning clear. And now may have a chance to counter. Dixon has some room. Dixon plays it forward one-on-one with Dorr, and Dorr makes the stop. These goalkeepers exchanging huge saves. And the Dolphins stay down just a goal after a huge stop by Brianna Dorr. What a sequence these last 60 seconds or so. Jensen now has room. Jensen works around Charsky, but Charsky stifled that shot. A back and forth exchange of top quality scoring chances by these two teams. And no goal to show for it for either side. Pierce given room. Pierce has a shooting lane and sends it wide. Well, let's get a look at the most recent shot and stop by Dorr. You'll get to see the ball that set it up as well. The ball skipped past a couple of Dolphins onto the foot of Dixon. A strong touch to play it ahead, and Dorr stops what was an absolute rocket shot. There's another shot that traveled up into the netting. We had a trio of Dolphins check in. It was Kovalenko, Cole, and I heard one more, Sola. So 3 Dolphins come in. We're just shy of 24 minutes to go here in the second half. And the last couple of minutes, I think both teams have been on their heels a bit. Dolphins had a tremendous chance off the head of Riley Hammond. It was saved. I thought perhaps it might be saved into the area just inside the post, but it was saved and redirected wide. It looked like Nunziata was caught a bit by surprise as Hammond had the header attempt from in close and was just able to get there. On the other side, Dorr, certainly not surprised by the shot in coming off the foot of Dixon. Had to make a huge stop to keep this a 1-goal game, and she was up to the task. There's a tie-up, and a foul was called. It's going to be a free kick for the Dolphins here. So CSI with a chance off of the set piece as we approach the midway point of this second half. The way Thompson has put a couple of long strikes on goal. Unsurprising here that we see her attempt the free kick. Thompson into the box, and it's headed wide of the frame. Goal kick coming up for Goldey Beacom. So a non-threatening free kick there. And perhaps a chance for these two teams to take a breather and regroup here. It has been a frantic pace these last few minutes as part of what has been a very entertaining match. The Dolphins led this one 1-0. The Lightning have now scored 2 unanswered, very nearly made it 3. The Dolphins just as easily could have gotten even as that's cleared over the sideline for a Goldey Beacom throw. But the Dolphins have had as many chances in this game as they've had in any. We'll get the official shot tally in just a moment. The Dolphins in this match have attempted 15 shots. Keep in mind, coming in, they had just 27 on the season. Both teams with 15 shots in this match. There's a strong sliding tackle by Cole. Dolphins hope to turn it into something on the attack. Asola for Cirinelli. Good ball, finds Cirinelli in stride. Cirinelli Sends one into no woman's land there. I'm not sure what the intention was. Thought maybe she might try and bend it around those backs toward Jurek and play her maybe a bit wide of the center of the box, but tough angle there to bend that ball through traffic. That one headed into the midfield. This is Cole. Short pass. Thompson into a dangerous spot, but good body positioning there. From Jones and from Solvik, keeping the Dolphins away from that ball. Nunziata throws, and Solvik with a strong touch. That is not what she wanted. And the Dolphins have possession. Chance here. Cirinelli toward Jurek, and it is saved by Nunziata. No way for her to really gauge whether or not that shot would end up on target. But because she was unsure, she deflected what otherwise would have been a shot wide over the touchline for a Dolphins corner. Their fourth of the match. Big moment in this match right here. Corner on the way, near post, punched in the air. And it skips toward the edge of the 18. O'Donnell puts one toward goal and could not bend it in the upper corner. We saw Millie Hunt do something similar. She had a bit of a sharp angle, looked to bend a ball into goal from near the sideline, about halfway between the sideline and the box, and Hunt was able to do so. That was in the game against Roberts Wesleyan. Ball with the Lightning now inside of 20 minutes to play. If you're the Dolphins, there's still time. You have to feel pretty good about getting some more chances. That obviously comes with not allowing another goal. Perhaps getting a bit more aggressive. We'll see how they manage to pull that off tactically. This is Pierce. She has a step on Cirinelli. Up the sideline for Dixon with plenty of room. A chance to cross if she chooses. She will. Way too much on that ball. Hunt lets it roll toward the side, meets it there. And her pass is straight into the Lightning bench for a Goldey Beacom throw. Throw finds Pierce. Munoz now. Into the box. A lot of blue jerseys. And Castro fumbled with it for a moment, but does secure it along the touchline as Hunt will clear it again. Another Lightning throw. 17:40 to go in the second half. That ball sent wide. That ball sent a short way by Dorr. Hardly reached the midfield with it. Now Dixon, marked by a pair of Dolphins, tried to play it into heavy traffic, and Cole, with physical defense there, had to be careful. Believe that contact did occur inside the 18. We've seen the Dolphins on the wrong side of a penalty kick already this year. Thompson, short pass for Castro. Castro too far in front of Cole. Short throw. Sent in the air, headed skyward. Charsky just got to it ahead of Dixon. The Dolphins being forced to retreat a bit here. This is Cole again. Dolphins looking to build something now through the midfield. Cirinelli. And there was just no window there for that pass. You could see it. 4 Lightning defenders in the area of where that ball was headed. And now Goldey Beacom crosses midfield looking to move into the attacking third. This is Pierce. Pierce off the head of Charsky. Hunt. Oh, that's a tough call. I thought she had kept the hand away. It looked like it contacted the body, but the handball does award Goldey Beacom a free kick. It's a big moment in this second half. The Dolphins have to find a way to keep this ball out of net. And then I think you can use this as an opportunity to try and build a counterattack and perhaps get something going yourself, because they haven't had much on the attack here in half number 2, hoping to change that. Free kick, Pierce toward goal and high. That one hung up there for quite a while, as we'll have substitutions here. Solvik heads off. Trumich into the game for her, and Kovalenko heads off for CSI, replaced by Jean Belay. We have a whistle. I didn't see if they stopped the clock. It looks like they might be requesting a time change. So what I'm going to do is stop the clock here. And I think they are going to perform a reset on the time. So we'll see where they put it and then continue from there. They're just waiting for word on how much time. All right, they just got the time from downstairs. It is 14:55 put on the clock. And play resumes there. Final third of this second half, final 15 minutes in this match. The Dolphins trailing by a goal. Struck first. Goldey Beacom with 2 unanswered. Now leads it 2-1. And the flag goes up. Urich was in really good position there, but could not stay on side. And the Lightning are awarded the free kick. The Dolphins certainly can turn up the aggressiveness just a bit with runs like that one. It was awfully close. Not going to try and replay any offsides flag that doesn't occur right in front of our camera, as the Dolphins have a takeaway. Jean Belay works through one challenge, puts one toward goal and wide. That's one you would like to have back if you're Jean Belay. We'll see where that shot ended up and just how close it was. It's going to be a goal kick upcoming. So here it is, a bit closer, and there you see it, skipping just wide of that far post relative to where the shot was taken from. Jean Belay, very involved on the attack whenever she's out there. Urich has been impactful. And I think these new additions at forward for the Dolphins have done a lot of really good things this year. I think the big missing piece right now is the ability to connect with them on those long through balls, on the occasional long ball up the pitch that may take a bounce, a favorable bounce for you. Sometimes you need those, but the forwards have had to do a lot of the work with the ball on their foot and not necessarily off the receipt of a pass. And I think when you get in that territory that you're asking a lot of dribbling out of your attackers, it really limits the amount of chances that you can generate in a match. And we've seen the Dolphins in some matches this year plagued by a general lack of scoring opportunities. That one sent in the air, and it bounces into the back. Sent into the trainer's area. Dolphins will throw with just over 12 and a half to play. I think we had another quick substitution that stopped the clock, as the Dolphins can't catch up to that one. Asola ran out of space. So what we're going to do is stop the clock very briefly here at 12:05, let the venue catch up. We do have our scoreboard. However, that device is very much on life support. So come basketball, we will need to use it. When we don't need to, it is much more reliable to operate the clock ourselves, which is what I'm doing today. Once again, this is Joe Foreman on the call, engineering your live stream, taking care of the play-by-play duties. Dolphins down to 12 minutes in search of an equalizer. And Goldey Beacom just shy of 12 minutes away from their first win of the season. A win in this match would make it 5 straight against the Dolphins for the Lightning. The last time these two teams played here, 1 goal scored in the second minute. And that was it. Possession with Goldey Beacom just beyond midfield. Pierce sends one ahead. And Yeager is dispossessed. Thompson grabbed a hold of the jersey and then issues a shove. Those two exchanging words. I'm not sure the official caught it. He now has his eyes in that direction, but those two were exchanging some pleasantries there, as we like to say here in the booth. O'Donnell sends one into the midfield. Ballin got rid of it, but Castro got her foot on it. Urich with some nice dribbling there to avoid a couple of Navy jerseys. Cole off the mark with that pass. Asola was in the area. Cole dispossessed Munoz. Looking for Jensen. Jensen circles back. Avoids O'Donnell. Wants Dixon. That ball comes to rest in a dangerous spot. Down goes Dixon. And it rolls over the touchline. Dorr was coming out to get it. Dixon making a strong run to try and get a shot off. And that play ended in a big-time collision. Dixon went over the top of Dorr. Here's one more look at it. Certainly not pleasant if you're the attacking player there. At a bit of a disadvantage with the allowances for the goalkeeper. And Dixon paid the price. Munoz, center of the pitch. Gavert. That pass failed to split a couple of Dolphins. Pierce drops it back. Quick give and go there between Pierce and Trumich. Pierce looking to cross. It's volleyed away by O'Donnell. And again, the Lightning will look to regroup here. And that was an interesting sequence. Strong physical defense by Jean Belay. I think it's been a generally let them play style of officiating. My favorite, admittedly, so I'm biased in favor of that officiating style. And Asola is whistled for a foul right on cue. That one's certainly the right call. Just over 8.5 to go. The Lightning lead, still a single goal. Here comes Goldey Beacom through the midfield. Gavert short pass over to Pierce. Trumich looking. Lightning taking their time, and they can afford to do so here. Again, Goldey Beacom circles back into the midfield. Trumich slowly moving ahead. She's given a lot of space, and that's exactly why the Dolphins in those passing lanes, and they're almost daring the Lightning to try a long shot. Nunziata, bad pass. Sola for Juric, and they're going to say she was over and back offsides. Well, we said we wouldn't replay the offsides, but that one pretty consequential. And ahead of this free kick, here's a quick look at it. Tough to tell without slowing it down, but we want to keep these replays short and sweet. I'm looking at it again on our smaller monitor, and I'm inclined to say they got it correct. That is absolutely offsides. Good call by the line judge. O'Donnell back to Dorr. Dorr toward Thompson, and really nice redirect there by Thompson. It hit Cirinelli in stride, and Sola was looking for a teammate who wasn't there. Pierce with Cirinelli close by. That ball played into the box, and that was very nearly another dangerous moment for the Dolphins as they looked to redirect it onto the foot of Yeager. Substitution will stop the clock. Just over 6 minutes to go. The Dolphins have had, by my estimation, 2 high-quality chances in the half. One on the long shot by Thompson. It was a good strike, but from a very long way out. Came up just a bit high. And then the header by Riley Hammond may very well be the best Dolphins scoring chance of the match. And it was stopped by Nunziata. These goalkeepers have come up big at times in this second half. And Dorr will have to come up big again. Here she does, as she got on top of it with Dixon closing in quickly. So off of the substitution, the Lightning got right back to work, and Dixon has been in the middle of just about everything on the attack for Goldey Beacom in this one. Dorr has one skip across midfield. Urick held up by Jones. Jones met again by Urick, who commits the foul. Dolphins have been a bit more aggressive in their challenges, especially late now with the 1-goal deficit. It will be a free kick for Goldey Beacom in this spot. That one sent into the midfield. O'Donnell for Cirinelli. Pass a bit off the mark for Cole, but she comes up sliding and was able to get it to Castro. Now the Dolphins may have something brewing here, as that was sent over the touchline by the Lightning. Quick throw, but a substitution was waiting to come on. So they've stopped the clock again. And with it being a Dolphins throw, I'm curious to know if the bench would have wanted the substitution in that spot. We'll pick up our running clock in about 14 seconds. Sabrina Dorr in with just over 4 minutes to go. We're now back in line with the venue clock. Inside of 4 minutes to play. Dolphins pressuring here. one pass after the other. The Dolphins forcing Goldey Beacom into retreat. Charsky sent one through the midfield. It ends up on the foot of Cole. Cole avoids Munoz. That was Castro up ahead. Dorr tangled up and couldn't keep it. Dolphins really pressing here as we approach 3 minutes to go. Hunt intercepted, but had no room to get rid of the ball. Castro tracks it down and sent it right off of Dixon. Dolphins to throw. Under 3 minutes to go. Urich waiting for it to come down. Lost it, and it's cleared away by Goldey Beacom into the midfield. Dixon challenged by Hunt. Now Pierce had it knocked away by Cole on the slide tackle. Jean Belay moving ahead. Wanted to play Urich through, but I don't think the lane was there. And you can just see how many Lightning players are between the ball and goal right now. There's Thompson again, but this one sails high. Thompson's made a bid for goal 3 times in this match from a long way out. And they've all come up just a bit high. We have reached the final 2 minutes ahead of a Goldey Beacom goal kick. The clock has been stopped at 1:59, so the Lightning were taking too much time. I think that's a good whistle by the official. By my estimation, it's been a well-officiated match today. We haven't had a hot bench. To be fair, my aspiring officials not with me on the crew today, so no input there. Dolphins did play that ball at the top of the 18, but couldn't keep it in front of them. They did stop the clock at about 2 minutes before. Our clock did not stop for one reason or another. We'll be synced up with the venue clock in just a moment. We approach the final minute with a Dolphins throw. Charsky had that one deflected a mile high. Door closing in, couldn't get there. Final 65 seconds from Dolphins Soccer Park, and Goldey Beacom with a goal kick is in a good position to take some time off the clock. The Dolphins need to come up with a takeaway here. Lightning moving it well into the midfield, and that somehow got through Cirinelli's legs. And that's big as Goldey Beacom look to continue up the pitch. They wisely slow it down around midfield. That one off the head of Charsky, and perhaps a chance to score here. Dixon working against O'Donnell, moves toward the touchline, crosses in front, sent away by Hunt. That one headed toward goal. Less than 20 seconds to play. Dorr sends it out toward midfield, but the first to it are the Lightning, and time is going to run out on the Dolphins here. Final 5 seconds. Urich on the move, will not get there in time, and that will do it for today's non-conference matchup here at the College of Staten Island. Our final score: the Lightning of Goldey Beacom College 2 and the College of Staten Island 1. For the Dolphins, the winless skid continues. They have now lost 4 straight, winless in the last 5. The win for Goldey Beacom is their first of the 2025 season. With the victory, the Lightning improved to 1-5-1. The Dolphins fall to 1-5-1. And for CSI, once again a game where you can say they did a lot of good things. There are definitely some positives to take away. They were on the positive side of the shot tally, 19-18. Both teams with 6 shots on goal, but the Dolphins simply did not finish enough of their chances to take this game. And I think what makes it a bit more disappointing is the nature of that first Goldey Beacom goal. That's one that I'm sure the Dolphins believe should not have happened. And I think that really put them in a much different frame of mind entering halftime. Very easily could have went into the half with a lead. Instead, you go in tied, perhaps a bit disappointed about what transpired on that goal. And from there, the Lightning tally one more in half number 2 to take the win by a final score of 2-1. Next up, for women's soccer, they head to Spark Hill, New York to take on St. Thomas Aquinas College on Wednesday. I will be there for our CSI Sportsnet audio-only broadcast. You can catch that over on our YouTube channel. You can stream live video of the game exclusively on Flow College via the Spartans live stream. Be sure to check out their website for that. The link to the video live stream also on the women's soccer schedule page over at csidolphins.com. For everything you need to know about the team, including scores, upcoming schedules, and more, you can visit csidolphins.com, and all of the information you could be looking for can be found over there. So with that, I will step off headset for probably 20 minutes, and when I come back, we will have men's soccer playing their second conference match of the 2025 season as they take on Malloy University. The Dolphins and Lions set for a 2:30 p.m. kickoff. We're looking to go live around 2:20. So when we do, you can catch us right back here on CSI Sportsnet. As always, streaming exclusively on Flow College. Everyone, thanks for watching, and be sure to catch men's soccer coming up next.